Hi, welcome here. This is Josie and welcome to Vlogmas Day 12. I'm glad to have you here. We're making it almost halfway there. It's actually exciting. I'm well rested right now. I think it's afternoon. I think it's definitely afternoon. It's coming to 3 o'clock. And I had a good lie-in. I'm well rested and we've had our brunch. I've shown you a little clip. That's what we tend to have on Saturdays. It's a more chill day. Previously, before the lockdown, really before all this situation changed, we used to take my daughter for gymnastics, but now their leisure center closed and the leisure centers available are further off, so we decided to first put it on hold. So we never have much planned out on Saturdays. And also my son used to do his tennis on Saturday, which I moved to Tuesday, so we don't have to have such early mornings. So we never have much planned out on Saturdays. We don't go out much. And hubby does the house shopping, the food shopping. He does it on Friday evening. So Saturdays we are not obliged to get out. So it's a more relaxed day. And there's not much going on today. And I've decided to let my skin breathe. I don't have much makeup on apart from the eyebrows. Just feel like they frame the face, and I thought I'd come on here and answer a few questions that a few of you left. I requested if you had a few questions you needed me to answer, and I thought which better time to come to you with most of these as opposed to on Vlogmas where I'm not sharing much sewing. However, in 2021 I'm thinking to change things here and there, probably bring you a lot more of other DIYs or crafts I'm up to, but at the moment I've been documenting my sewing journey. But on a normal day today, I do more than sewing. I'm a crafter, and I think being a crafter and a DIY person is what brought me to sewing. That I've only actually been in active dressmaking for only 3 years. I could say I still started sewing when I was young. I was about 8 or 9 that I used to use my mom's sewing machine. It was a manual sewing machine with a treadle, and I figured out how to mend clothes. I mostly used it for mending. Being in Africa, you didn't have the luxury of having so much, but also there was an option when we were pretty young. We were taught to hand wash our clothes. Washing machines are a new thing. They were not there when we were growing up, so we were taught to hand wash our clothes. And because I would rather play, I never wanted to wash my clothes. So when I needed clothes to wear, I would look up for it. Was much easier for me to mend than to wash. That's a bit about me. That was the story of that time. And I thought today, there's not much planned out today, and I actually want to have a lazy day of not doing much. And hubby takes over Saturday. Saturdays are meant to be my free days, off days. In the past I used to go to town, walk around, but now I prefer staying home and sewing. That's when sewing came in, so I would rather not waste time walking around shops. And right now it's not worth it going around shops for no good reason, really. You only step out if you must and you have things to do there. And I thought I would come on to here. So hubby takes over the house. I help with brunch, but after that he's on his own. Because for the rest of the week I'm in charge. I'm doing a lot of the work. So his relaxing day is coming to the kitchen and taking care of the family, that I have a breather, really. We need this to just push you on. And I had a few questions that were asked of me. Someone, let me get them. I'll need my glasses because I can't read off my phone without them. Bear with me. And oh, I must say thank you everybody for your kind comments about my family, about my kids. That warms my heart. Sometimes you're not so sure whether you should incorporate them into your vlogging live, but if people asked me if I could bring them more into the Vlogmas videos I'm uploading, and that actually warmed my heart and it made me glad. And I had a question from Kate Hamilton, and it was, "Hi Josie, so glad you're doing Vlogmas. I really enjoy your videos. Thank you so much. I'd love to hear about Christmas season in Uganda and how, if it translates into life in Leeds." I could say there are two different extremes. In Leeds, a little whatever about us. In Leeds, we don't have close family in Leeds. We came to Leeds 5 years ago with my husband and the 2 kids. The youngest by then was just 1. So we just moved to this country. We try to travel back home every other year. And so it's supposed to be next year, 2021. Unfortunately, we are not so sure if we shall be traveling because the upcoming elections in Uganda at the moment, and at the moment the situation is not as stable as we would want it to be, so we are not so fast and quick to book air tickets. And also, given the current situation that we all know about, you're not certain you're ready to book an air ticket on flights that are about 14 hours long. That's a lot of exposure and risk. Not that I'm not saying we won't travel, but we are assessing the situation before we go in and book the air tickets. So for now, we're not yet sure. And also about Christmas. So in the past, we've hosted friends. We've lived in Leeds for 5 years at the moment. And I think this is going to be our 6th Christmas, if I'm not mistaken. I think so, or 5th. We moved to the country in 2015, yeah. So we've always had friends come over, friends who are also by themselves with family back in Africa. We've always hosted them at our house. Then 2 Christmases ago, we traveled to friends of ours down south in Surrey. And we had a lovely time there. They had invited the other friends from Uganda, so it was a lovely Ugandan Christmas. It felt like being home. And then last Christmas, for some reason, we just decided to spend it, the 4 of us. And we didn't know how it would feel like, and actually it felt nice. It was so relaxed. Hubby and I were in the kitchen cooking. Then after we had a lovely time watching Christmas movies, it felt nice. Little did we know it was preparing us for this Christmas where we don't have much choice. You can't host, neither can you travel. Not that you must not, but we are being conscious about a lot, so we are not traveling anywhere, nor are we hosting anyone. So it's going to be the 4 of us, and because we tested it last time, we are happy with it and comfortable with it. So the difference is that back home, if we were in Uganda, we would have family around us. We used to alternate whether to spend Christmas with my husband's family or with mine, and we would still have done the same thing. And growing up, also Christmas, one thing that I had to learn from living in the UK, growing up in Uganda, I came from a family that was pretty big, so we never had the luxury of Christmas gifts. Those were luxury, so no one ever planned for Christmas gifts. However, when we were young, our parents bought us a new cloth, a new dress, or a new outfit to wear to church on Christmas. So that was the one thing we looked forward to on Christmas, getting that new outfit to wear to church. So that was the one thing that was different about Christmas back home, and it was exciting. And right now we are building our new traditions, so we don't also buy so many presents to send, but that's our culture. At least we get kids presents. I get my husband a present, he gets me a present, and yeah, we are happy to open them up. And that's what's different. And definitely in Uganda it's hot all year round, so we are out and about. You'd step out, you were not closed in because of the weather, so it was never cold. It's warm all year round with an average of about 28 degrees, which is the perfect weather. It's not so hot, nor is it too cold, nor is it cold, so it's the perfect weather. I apologize, the sun is setting already. It's 3 o'clock, it's coming to 3, but it's getting dark already, and I thought I would record these videos before it gets dark. Then I also have a question from Cherry Bernard. I'm sorry if I've not pronounced the name right. I'm curious, does your family plan to remain in England indefinitely, or do you intend to return to South Africa? Thank you so much. I wish I was from South Africa, because I've got a very good friend there, but no, we are from Uganda. And about the family remaining in England indefinitely, I don't think that's something I can comfortably say, given that recently we were granted permanent residence in the UK, so we are at liberty to stay in the UK for as long as we want, with no restrictions whatsoever. However, being that first home is Uganda, that's where all your family and friends are, it's sad to say that you'd stay in the UK indefinitely. It just gives us options, really. That's how I look at it, that when the time is right and we know it's ready, it's the right time for us to go back home, we shall go back home. But right now we are not limited by time, but we're enjoying staying in the UK at the moment. So we're at that point. I think we let the seasons and the times decide, and we know when it's the right time to move. So about remaining in the UK indefinitely, the answer is yes and no, because there are no restrictions, so we are not bound high time that we must leave the country at this time, nor are we saying that we can't go back home, because it's still home. That's where everybody is, the people you care about most. Given we've made friends in the UK and Leeds who have turned into family, but we can all agree there's a difference still when your brothers and sisters are back home, when your parents are back home. There's that pull that still takes you back home. And then I've got another question which was paired up in so many, and it was by Nicole Fong. I hope I pronounced it well. There are quite many questions. I'll try to break them down. Would you be willing to share more recipes, please? Yeah. If I should let you into a secret, I don't enjoy cooking. It's not my favorite chore. But because I feel like I must give my family a meal every day, and I'm one to cook from scratch most of the times. I cook from scratch, so I always look for recipes that can be inspiring. And once I find one that I like, I save it on my Pinterest board or on my YouTube playlist. And then also other questions. I would love to know more about your favorite sewing gadgets for tricky steps, hems, buttonholes, shoulder seams, and the like. Oh, and how you choose what to sew for you and what you sew for your family. She also wants to find out my favorite gadgets or steps when I'm sewing, and also how I choose what to sew and when I'm sewing for my family. Actually, about sewing, I go by inspiration. Sometimes I could look at my fabric stash and I look at a fabric I've wanted to sew. So I always go to Instagram and look at hashtags, or I look at the patterns I already own and I see which fabrics matches up. But most times necessity drives it. In the past, I've mostly bought most of my son's clothes because it's much easier buying boys' clothes, honestly, and cheaper buying them than making them. So there are things that don't make him, like jeans. And also it's recent that I've started making him pants, mostly the Hudson pants, because they fit better than the store-bought clothes. And also because they are growing so fast. So when you make a piece of clothing, you're not sure they'll wear it for even 6 months. So you are more conscious when I'm making them. But for myself, I rarely change in size. So my clothes still fit me, and my inspiration comes from fabric. And priority always goes to fabrics that have been gifted to me by a few fabric companies. Now those are priority. Once I get the fabric, I start looking on Instagram for what to sew with it. And then fabrics I'm not, and that I've bought myself, most times they collect in my storage. But once I'm inspired and I've seen a pattern I love to match it up with, I pick it up on. And then another question, still by Nicole. Would you be willing to share about where you folks live too, please? Currently, we live in Leeds in the UK. Leeds is in the Yorkshire region, which is in the north of England. And in the past, the very first time we lived in the UK, that was in 2010 and to 2012, we lived in Manchester, which was good. That when another opportunity came up for us to return in the UK, that was in 2015. Manchester was the first choice because it's where we had lived before. At least we've never admired living down south. I think life there is so busy. For us, coming from Africa, you don't want a fast-paced life, to be caught up in a daily fast-paced life. And you find Leeds gives us that subtle life, which is not so fast and also not so slow. Although Manchester is not as fast as London in comparison, but Leeds is more slow compared to Manchester. I don't know if you understand what I'm talking about. It's a kind of life where people want to take life easier, but also make the most out of it. So Leeds is a perfect place. And yes, she said she hopes for a long trip to the UK with her son someday. Nicole, that would be really nice. Hopefully whenever that happens, we get to meet up. And then I've also received a wonderful message, and I just thought I would read this out. Another message from Travis Bernard. Another fun day. I'm enjoying getting to know you. You and Hila make me want to take a trip to Leeds and have lunch with the two of you. Thank you very much, Travis. Hope I'm pronouncing the name right. And yes, that will really be nice. Hila is a good friend of mine. Sad that we are in the lockdown. We only talk to each other on phone, and when that happens, it goes on for about. Hila is Saturday Night Stitch. You probably seen on my channel once, and you probably, if you saw, you might have come across her channel. Yes, she's an amazing friend of mine, and when we meet up, we actually chat and laugh, and when we call each other on phone, we don't talk for less than an hour. And yes, whenever you're in Leeds, let us know. We shall be happy to have lunch with you once life returns to normal, as if that normal will ever return, but whatever it will be like, whenever we are happy and free to meet up with people, we shall be more than glad to meet up with you. Thank you so much. It's been a long chatty one, and I thought I would come to you today and just chat because I wasn't so busy. I didn't have a lot planned out for the day, and hope you've enjoyed knowing a bit about me. And if you have more questions you'd want me to answer, please leave them in the description box below. I'll be happy to answer them. And because it's just not easy to just come and pour your life there unless someone actually is interested in knowing a particular aspect about you or wants to ask you questions, and it's then that you're happy to answer them. So please leave questions in the description box below, whatever you would want to ask or to know about. I'm happy to answer them if there are questions I can actually answer. Thank you for tagging along. I'm going to take you through a few things I might be up to today, but it's not much. I'm letting it be a slow day. Sometimes you get overwhelmed when there's a lot to do and you just feel like you can't control a lot. So I take off Saturday to be my slow day where I'm not stressed out about a lot of things, a lot of housework, and I just take a break. So I might get down to writing a few blog posts for Minova. I think I have a few to write off. And probably make some pom-poms with the kids. And that will be it. See you for now.